Last Saturday, Workers' World Party brought a contingent to confront the cops and their Klan-running dogs in Charlottesville, Virginia, as part of a battle to take down altars to racism, what the media cynically calls Confederate monuments across the country. These heaps of trash are critical linchpins to white supremacy, as proven exactly by the president himself mourning their removal just this afternoon. Though the movement has gained another martyr hero, Heather Heyer, who joins a long, illustrious line of martyr heroes who have given their lives in the fight against white supremacy, our movement, I believe, emerged having made progress. In our struggle in the streets of Charlottesville, we were solidifying ties and building real, meaningful left unity in the streets. I'm not talking about the sort of left unity discussed at conferences or in the pages of some glossy magazine. I mean, that's all well and good, but our kind is way better. Our unity is forged in battle, in life or death struggle against the enemy. The solidarity that I witnessed on that day was incredible. When the Klan would throw bricks or the cops would throw tear gas, someone on our side would shout out, "Heads up," or "Watch out," to alert everybody around them. The right wing, they have no sense of solidarity with each other. Theirs are acts of terror, lone wolf acts of cowardice, while our unified acts of courage and love are praised and loved by people all over the world. I was standing with my comrade about 10 feet away when a car plowed into unarmed, peaceful protesters at the intersection of 4th and Water that day. We were scouting ahead, as we do. Workers' World Party has a history of militant street action that stretches back decades. Our first action in New York actually was to chase the founder of the American Nazi Party out of town. So, since then, the party's mobilized millions of people for causes ranging from the fight to get Mumia off death row, free Mumia, to mobilizing 250,000 people or more against the war in Iraq. So we have some experience, and always against racism. We as a collective have protocol that we follow to keep us safer in the streets. So therefore, Nate and I were walking around. We were following this protocol. We were scouting ahead. When all of a sudden this vile coward plows 4,000 pounds of metal into our people. We had just finished dodging bricks, bats, bottles, tear gas, and mace earlier, but there is no way to dodge a car. I will never forget the sound it made. With bodies flying in the air, I thought it was a bomb. It wasn't until I saw this cowardly dog throw his car in reverse that I realized what had really happened. By then, people in the crowd had rushed to assist those in need. A group of anarchists held their banner to shield our injured and dying comrades from corporate media vultures. Leaning over, trying to help, I did not ask Heather what she thought of Bookchin, of Marx, of Lenin, Mao, or the Spanish Civil War. In the face of this tragedy, in our battle against the enemy, it meant absolutely nothing. In these moments, we were all in the same army. We knew we weren't just squaring off against 500 racists. They had more than 1,500 cops on their side. They have a racist imperialist state with 7,000 nukes on their side. We were out that day against the whole damn system. We were there to raise our banners, shut down their racist hate speech, and hold our ground. And we did all very well, working in consultation with each other as a mostly unified group. But after this murder, after this horrific scene, the mood of our forces quickly became one of so much for the tolerant left, right? Like Nate was saying, people started to lose it. I saw one pig stroll through this scene of carnage with a Make America Great hat on. He was smirking while people were begging him, why? Why would you want to do this? And then someone sucker punched him. That's right. I saw people spit on the Klan. I saw people grabbing Confederate flags out of the hands of armed racists. The Klan was broken and terrified. Their rank and file scurried to their cars. As a comrade of mine said earlier this week, they didn't really want to touch that. They don't want to tap into the righteous hatred and rage that we all feel, and they don't want to stir that rage, but that's exactly what they did when they murdered Heather. That's exactly what they do every fucking day they show their face. They don't have a mass base to back up their hate, just cops, the Klan, and the ruling class. We should have no doubt in this room, because they have no doubt that this is war. We are fighting the racist mass slaughter of Black, brown, and indigenous people worldwide, and should never for a moment think that the same killing machine that destroyed every building in People's Korea, that tortured Iraqis at Abu Ghraib, that raped nuns with bayonets in Guatemala, will not likewise be leveled against us. We are not too good for this empire. Our passports, if we have them, are ultimately meaningless to a state that traffics and was founded on slavery and genocide. There are no borders in this struggle against white supremacy, capitalism, and imperialism. We are one global, multinational, and multi-gender working class. We saw that solidarity and faith in our movement in Durham on Monday night. Workers' World Party comrades led a group of righteous freedom fighters to help out the sanitation department to take out the trash in Durham. Takia Thompson, a 22-year-old queer black woman, student at NC Central, member of Workers' World Party, climbed up and put a rope around that altar to white supremacy and threw the other end to the crowd, who pulled it down to chants of "No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA." The response that followed was electric. A comrade from Durham who had been part of our tactical team in Charlottesville called me screaming. I hadn't been able to eat or sleep so well since Saturday, but the news she shared with me put me right over the moon. What happened in Durham was a love letter to our class. Durham was a get well soon card for our movement, and Durham is the certainty that we're on the right side of history. The people had unapologetically taken down a symbol of oppression, of white supremacy, of capitalism, of slavery, and when it hit the ground, it crumbled like paper. It took the state less than 24 hours to start its raids and arrest, and some people commented, well, why didn't you mask up? Why did you do it in the daylight in front of such a large crowd? And it's because our comrades in Durham did nothing wrong, right? They were providing a public service, and the city should have paid them. Compare this repression to the case of DeAndre Harris in Charlottesville, who was almost lynched by a gang of racists on Saturday. The men who beat him have been identified, but no arrests have been made, no raids, right? The state knows which side it's on. It has the most technologically advanced weapons and tools at its disposal, but we have the people on our side, whether defending the Klan in Charlottesville or terrorizing our freedom fighters in North Carolina. As my comrades from Durham say, the cops and Klan go hand in hand. And while our comrades are facing serious charges, because of our courageous actions in Charlottesville and Durham, the state has been forced to make a retreat. Hundreds of people showed up to the Durham courthouse this morning to turn themselves in, along with 3 more freedom fighters who had warrants out for their arrest. And this is the kind of solidarity and unity that terrifies the state. In Baltimore, perhaps getting word that somebody was going to maybe take down these altars for white supremacy, the city snuck in the dead of night to take them down before we could get our hands on them. And even in Richmond, which is the boss level of Confederacy, which is the boss level of this bullshit, there is word that the city might take down the hideous psychic weapons along Monument Avenue. Malcolm Suber, a black communist freedom fighter in New Orleans, a leader in the fight against white supremacy there, says, "Give the people sledgehammers and they'll take care of the rest." To do this, we need to develop, like Raf was saying, we need to develop a cadre army. We need organization, discipline, commitment, and trust. And if you're sitting out there right now trying to decide whether or not to join an organization or a party, I would really encourage you to just go ahead and apply. Obviously, I'm biased, but when you're hooked up with a national network of steadfast, dedicated, educated, experienced, charming, attractive, caring, and loving comrades, we've all got a better chance at success. We need to consult with one another about security best practices, put our heads together on how we're going to accomplish this thing. And don't think that sniping on Twitter or Facebook is going to get us there. Don't pretend that sectarianism is going to accomplish anything. The ruling class has unity in action, but not solidarity. And that's the critical element that they're missing, and it's really our key strength. So smash white supremacy, Black Lives Matter, and take them all down. Thank you.